Hi there, this is Vahid from VRF Education channel, and it's the 5th session of object-oriented programming in Python. In this session, I'm going to talk about magic methods in Python classes. These are a special type of methods that called automatically by Python interpreters. These methods starts and ends with double underscore, and we saw one of them already. The constructor of class is just a magic method in Python classes. There are a couple of other magic methods in Python and categorized under different categories. For example, representational methods, comparison methods, arithmetic methods, and container methods. Imagine that we want to compare two objects to each other. For example, we want to compare two account objects with each other, and the account with the higher remain amount is bigger than the other one. So Python doesn't know about the logic behind this class. By adding magic methods for comparison to our classes, Python now are able to compare them using standard comparison operators. We can add different type of magic methods to our classes based on our business or our logic that is behind that class. And we're going to talk about them in this session and also a couple of future sessions to get a really good understanding of these methods and their functionalities. So let's go to VS Code and check representational magic methods in this session, and we check these three other categories in future sessions. So let's check magic methods in practice. We talked about magic methods in previous session, and we said that init that act as a constructor of the classes are one of the magic methods inside Python. Magic methods are called implicitly, and we don't need to call them explicitly. And the Python interpreter decides when to call them if we implemented them inside our classes. You can look for magic method, search them in Google Python magic methods, and this link is good. It's better than the Python itself documentation. For example, it categorizes them. Here we have something for representing our classes. And as I told you, every magic method starts and ends with a double underscore or dunder. These two are very useful magic methods that we can use them to say something about our classes. So what does it mean? Here, if I just print, we created a student class in previous sessions. It has a constructor and also a method that prints something on the screen, something about this specific students. So what if I just print the instance itself without calling the display methods? Here you can see it says that we have something here. Let's comment it out. It was from the previous sessions. Now run it one more time. We create an instance of a student class, named it Vahid, and I just print it out. When we didn't override or implement those magic methods, it just says that this is an instance of the student class that is declared inside the main module, and it's located at this address of the memory. This is useful information if we want to check for the object itself. But whenever I want to print a student instance, I want to get a report for that student. So I can here re-implement the dunder str method. So dunder str dunder, and again pass the self parameter, self as the parameter, and here I'm gonna copy this one and paste it here. Whenever I want to behave this instance as a string, this method is called dunderstr, and the output is just another. Oh, I'm gonna return it as a string. I'm gonna return a string from this method, and the method is describing this student, this specific student, the name and the grades. Okay, if I call this one, you can see the result is something different from the previous one. Here, when I just re-implement the dunderstr method, it calls because here when I want to print out something, it's gonna act as some string. Or what if I just gonna call it, for example, info equal to str Vahid. I passed a student instance to the str function, and here I want to print out info. In this time, because str function gonna behave the instance as an string, this method will be called automatically, and the output is the same. Okay, the output of the info is the output of the dunder str method. And here we have another method to describe our instance. It is called rep r, or represent. This is somehow equal to str or dunder str, but the main difference that represent is intended to produce output that is mostly machine readable. We can add Python code into this method and run it somewhere else. But str or dunder str is intended to be human readable. Okay, I can override it. For example, change it to dunder rep r, and again, instead of passing to the str method, I'm gonna call 0 this time. If I run it, you can see the output is the same as I want, or as I call the display method, because these are two the same. So this is our first magic method that I scheduled to talk about in this series. And dunder str or dunder rep r are the most useful magic methods inside our classes, and most of the time we just re-implement or override the dunder str inside our classes. And if I just try to type no Wahid after I created Wahid dunder, you can see a lot of dunder methods or magic methods are declared inside our Python classes by default, and we should override them. And we talked about them in the next session in complete details. And they're very good. And there are also a couple of magic attributes or magic fields inside our classes. We talked about them in detail in future. These are very useful and can help you to create very flexible classes, and we might use them in most of scenarios. So this is it for this session. I hope you enjoy it, and I would be glad to hear you or your opinion about these videos or this series inside the comment section. Goodbye till next session.